Hey whales, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's July the 23rd. Let's recap the markets and go over the top stocks to buy for today. For those that don't know me though, I'm a full-time trader. I do these updates every single day. And to give you an idea in terms of how I'm doing so far for my trades, you can see here guys doing really well so far year to date, up 91k USD, 61% win rate across the board here. Super proud of myself. As you guys know, I started with $100,000 at the beginning of this year, so doing very, very well. We did take trades across Ford and Oscar Health yesterday alongside the Discord group, and you can see from the calendar view here in July, doing quite solid, right? Up 10.2k USD in profit total with about a week and a half to go. So let's see if I can continue this momentum moving forward. Back in June, I did end the month at 11.5k, and then in May, 11.9k, right? So let's see if I can surpass that goal and end the month strong. And again, guys, all my trades that you see here, everything from Oscar Health to Netflix, TSM, they're all posted every single day here in Discord, right? So these were winning trades across Oscar, across Uber, Reddit. These were all winning trades. You get day trades, you get swing trade signals as well. So I look forward to seeing you here in Discord. The link is in the bio for you to join, as well as right here in the description at stockwheel.vip. All right, so with that said, guys, let's jump into the top stocks to buy. Now, you guys know that I have multiple different patterns that I love to essentially build my watch list from. I like accumulation patterns. I like bull flags and triangle patterns for continuation. I like inverse head and shoulders patterns for bottoming formations. 3, 7, 11 pullbacks. So on good names, I like pullbacks. And then earnings beats. I always like to keep a lookout for stocks that have beat earnings, that have good guidance moving forward. And then, of course, the biggest losers of the day from yesterday. So let's go through each single one in rapid fire and really break it down here. So the first one is, of course, Apple. Now, you guys know we've been in Apple for quite some time at the low 200s here. Now, you can obviously see we're starting to break out from this pennant that was starting to form, right? And from the very top, guys, Apple has been one of the most lagging names overall on the S&P 500. So obviously, if you see that it's going down, but then all of a sudden it stopped going down and starts moving sideways, this is obviously an accumulation pattern before Apple starts breaking out towards the upside here. Okay, so if you haven't gotten to Apple yet, keep a lookout for red days to add, because as long as this low can hold at 168, this is a fantastic buy position to add to your portfolio. You can even make it a little bit more aggressive at 183, right? So anything above 183 could be a potential buy. If you take the swing lows to the swing highs in terms of the inverse fibs, we're looking at 228 for Apple all the way up to 282 if it breaks the all-time high. So keep a lookout for Apple to continue trekking higher. The next stock is CEG, Constellation Energy, guys. So as you guys know, I've been bullish on utilities, and you can obviously see that we're making higher highs, higher lows, starting to coil up here and starting to break out from this coil. So anywhere within this range could be a potential buy with a stop loss if you want to be very aggressive at 301, to be more conservative at 285. So you're basically playing for Constellation Energy for a breakout here, which looks pretty decent to me. And you know, we've been mentioning this about for the whole week here to go for Constellation. It started to break out, and you're looking at $400 all the way up to $476 in the future for Constellation Energy. All right, so let's keep moving forward. For Tesla. So Tesla's another name here that I really like. As you guys know, I'm in Tesla since 2023, but I've also accumulated Tesla down here as well at 260. So I'm looking for earnings to essentially be bad, but you know, with all the negativity already priced in, I don't think Tesla, if it does break down, if you take a look, right, there is a potential channel that's forming. It could retest the bottom half of this channel, right? And then if this can hold, right, from these lows, I'm expecting Tesla to push higher. It's similar to Apple. It's coiling. It's been one of the worst performers of the Mag 7s. You can see huge downtrend, but moving towards the right. So, you know, I think the worst could be over here. So I'm looking for Tesla to continue pushing higher towards the upside. Now, again, it is coiling as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see another low for a little while, okay? And we actually start breaking out. Implied move, I do believe it's about 10% to 20%. So if that's the case, we'll test the highs here, and if the lows, we'll test again the bottom half of this sort of pennant. Okay, so either or. I'm bullish on Tesla, and I've been bullish on Tesla. You guys know from my X channel, from the swing lows to the swing highs in terms of the targets. I've been preaching this, right? I'm looking for that 400 to 463 mark for that main target that I have. Let's keep going. For Walmart, guys. So Walmart, choppy at these levels. However, it is coiling a little bit. Very similar to Apple. Very similar to Tesla. So looking okay, looking decent. As long as this low can hold, you can see here at 92 bucks. We're calling for more upside. If not, this can obviously turn into a channel, something like this, and retest the bottom half of this channel for Walmart before heading higher, which I still think is a great buy overall. If you take the swing lows to the swing highs, let's take a look. Right, so it can retest back down to 92 bucks. And if it's super bearish, 86 to 83, I would love that there. But not sure if it's going to ever reach there at this cycle. Okay, so just some levels to keep a lookout for Walmart. All right, and then the next series is the bull flags and triangles, guys. So bull flags, as you guys know, I like bull flags because it basically gives you an idea of some good trending names pulling back nicely. So you can see for Kava, we did get this sort of bull flag that's formed, and then now it's starting to make higher highs, higher lows. So what can you do? You can now use Kava's low here at 83 bucks. You can call that the new cycle low. And now any dip against that low, you can buy. So you can buy it against 87 bucks here for a long. You can buy at 85, stop losses at 83, and you're looking at 92 to 95 bucks for Kava, okay? Let's keep going. For Cracker Barrel. So Cracker Barrel, again, very similar to Kava. We had this sort of channel forming, starting to break out here. Again, you can use Cracker Barrel's 63 bucks as a main invalidation level moving forward, and you can buy against that low. So if Cracker Barrel does come back down to 66 bucks, down to 65, these are potential buy areas with a stop loss underneath 63, and you're targeting 71 to 69 bucks here. Okay, for Celsius, you guys know I've been preaching about Celsius on this bull flag for quite some time, starting to get some traction here. You can see we've been flagging out like this, and we reacted nicely again. So from the swing lows to the swing highs, right, we are ticking off the 618 level, and now we're reaching possibly 49 to 52. You can have your stop loss underneath this level at 40 bucks. So looking pretty interesting for Celsius, as long as it doesn't become impulsive towards the downside. It's looking okay. For Carvana, Carvana is a little bit more riskier, and I'll tell you why. Even though we are getting this bull flag here, which is sitting nicely, you can see from the lows. You can see from the lows we have a potential wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this fifth to third wave, it is forming a bearish divergence here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do something like this, come up, and then break down. So sort of like a head and shoulders pattern. So you just got to be careful. This might turn into a head and shoulders. All right. So, but it is forming a bull flag nonetheless. The next thing is Delta Airlines. I like airlines, guys. I like the travel industry, as you guys know. Okay. You can obviously see for Delta, beautiful bull flag forming, and anywhere you can, position 54 bucks down to 53, 51. These are the two levels that I'm looking at for Delta to actually push up closer to 61 bucks here towards the upside. So I do like Delta. I do like travel and leisure and the airlines pushing forward. If it can make one more wave lower, that'll be nice, right? That'll be nice. So something like this. For Dash, guys, so Dash is looking good. We've been mentioning this for the past few days as well, starting to break out from the lows here that we mentioned. Okay, so you can see if this is the new invalidation level low, you can buy DoorDash against that low moving forward. Okay, so again, you can buy and position yourself slightly at 238, even down to 235 to 234 for a chance at 244 to 248. And then if you want to play this for the breakout towards all-time highs, okay, you're looking at 252 to 258 as well. All right, so DoorDash looking strong. For Goldman is looking bull flaggy as well. All right, so financials, interesting name. So if Goldman does make one more little bit low, I'm not sure if we're going to go down there. Okay, but if it can come down closer to maybe 685, this would be an interesting sort of level. You can have your stop loss underneath, 660s, right? And then you're aiming for 749, right, or 760 areas. So if Goldman can come down just a little bit more, this could do something like this in the future. So keep a lookout for financials and Goldman. For Hilton, so Hilton hasn't earnings for today, but you can clearly see looking bull flaggy as well. So keep a lookout for Hilton here. Good levels would make sense for a buy position. Okay. So yeah, 264 would be interesting if they do have a good earnings, but it comes all the way down. You're looking at 254 or 264, and then you're looking at 254 if earnings guidance is good, but the stock goes down for whatever reason. IBIT, guys. So we've been mentioning this over and over again as well. Bitcoin's looking solid, starting to form a pennant here as well. So keep a lookout for this pennant and pushing higher. Let's take a look. So you're looking at $72 on IBIT here for a potential target. For IBM, we've been mentioning this as well. So we have a new invalidation level low on IBM, very tight stop loss potential. So you're looking for IBM at 282 for a potential buy down to 281, very tight stop loss underneath 279. You can make it a little bit looser at 277, okay? But essentially you're going for all-time highs. If we take the inverse fibs, you're looking at potential $300 for IBM, and then if it does reach these levels, you would raise your stop loss or at least take half profits at this level, because what can happen is a three-wave move and then a double correction lower. So you want to make sure you always take half profits at the negative 236 and negative 218 inverse fibs. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at now. If IBM does open up lower today, okay, then this is your next buy zone here at 278 to 275. So good levels for IBM. For Jets ETF, you guys know, for the airline industry, I am bullish. So this could definitely turn into a bull flag here. So keep a lookout for airlines and travel and leisure, guys. For JP Morgan, so JP Morgan's looking good, right? So you can buy against these lows again. 289 to 285 are your levels. Okay, and you're looking at 299 to 304 as your main target. Stop loss under 280. For Live Nation, Live Nation's starting to break out as well. We've been mentioning about Live Nation. Starting to coil up for an ascending triangle pattern, guys. So keep a lookout for Live Nation. Looking pretty decent. I'm thinking it can break to all-time highs and pass 157. For Reddit, Reddit's looking pretty interesting as well. Very similar to IBM. Holding sort of these piercing lows, okay? So anything around 142, stop losses against sort of these triple bottoms and 138. You're looking at 153, 157, where you take half profits. And then if you want to break towards all-time highs, you're looking at 170 to 180 as your main target. So pretty interesting for Reddit. For Red Rock Resorts, again, travel and leisure here, looking pretty interesting. Okay, bull flagging here going into earnings. So keep a lookout for Red Rock Resorts. Same thing for Trip. So we mentioned Trip as well. Okay, starting to flag as well. Let's see if Trip can continue heading higher. And then finally, another name that I like is Upstart. You can see starting to create an ascending triangle pattern. So if it does dip, if you have a red day here, keep a lookout for continuation higher. All right, so those are the bull flags. Now, my personal favorites, I love the inverse head and shoulders, especially during a raging market, because these are the laggards within the industry. So for the first one, builders, first source, guys. So as you guys know, home builders have been on a pretty spiraling downtrend since the beginning. Now, we did win huge on DHI, guys. So if you take a look on DHI in Discord, this was the huge play that we won on for DR Horton. Okay, so we got the entry zones perfectly and we were up, I think, 16% in one day. So looking very great for DHI. So if that's the case on DHI, if home builders are doing well, and if I'm bullish on real estate, you guys know that builders first source could act the same. So looking like an inverse head and shoulders to me, looks like a bottom. Same thing with Mohawk, guys, right? So if you guys don't know, Mohawk does construction material. So same thing, same plays on this Cinderella story, guys. Cinderella stories on home builders. So keep a lookout for Mohawk Industries. Next one is Bristol Myers Squibb. So great dividends on this company. You're starting to see a little bit of accumulation inverse head and shoulder. So it needs to break out a little bit here. But great levels, to be honest. Sitting right at the 618s, guys, for Bristol Myers. So good company. Strong company. Fortune 500 company there. For Boston Scientific, you guys know I like Boston Scientific a little bit lower, guys. Closer down to 101. So if it does come down a little bit lower, this could be an interesting play for continuations higher. If you take a look at the daily, right? Starting to make higher highs and higher lows. Consolidating equal highs here. So, of course, the algos would love to take that out. All right, so keep a lookout for that pattern. Next one, Dominion Energy. You guys know I love utilities right now. I position into Dominion Energy with my Discord group from the lows. So look at that inverse head and shoulders on the daily. And look at that on the weekly. So double head and shoulders here on Dominion Energy. EXR, guys, another real estate play. You guys know I'm bullish on real estate. Potential head and shoulders as well. Starting to form and starting to coil. So it's starting to push against the moving averages. Possibly a breakout in the future here. For Huntsman Corporation, this one's a little bit riskier. Right? It's been in a huge downtrend since the very beginning. But it is coming up to some interesting levels. I'm not sure if I would take this yet. But you can see it's starting to move sideways here on the daily level, and I clearly see a inverse head and shoulders starting to form. Moving averages starting to coil a little bit towards the bull side. So could it do something like this? Who knows? But something to keep on your radar. And finally, sweet greens, guys. Sweet greens. So I'm not a fan of $15, $20 salads, but it is forming a good pattern on sweet greens. So could it hold? And we are at a high volume node here. You can see at 1394. All right, so very high volumes here. So could sweet green make a play? Okay, starting to move sideways. So it is interesting. Okay, next one, 3711 pullback. So these are good companies with pullbacks. Now there's a ton, but some standout names I wanted to diversify a little bit for you guys. So in health, right, we have Cardinal Health here. 151 would be a nice pullback level at the 618s. ERJ, airplane manufacturers, right, with the whole Boeing fiasco. Could be interesting for backlogs on ERJ. Okay, 60 at $46. For Micron's an interesting one as well. Good company. All right, you're looking at 104 against all these supports. Oklo. So you guys know we're in Oklo from $30, guys, in the Discord group. So we're absolutely killing it on Oklo. We took majority, 75% profits at the highs. Now, there is some things to be concerned about. If you take a look, the last stand for Oklo is 47 to 44. So it needs to, or 57 to 54. Needs to hold this, guys. Needs to hold that. If not, this turns into what I call a 1, 2, 3, 4 truncated fifth wave. So it becomes a flat. So what happens with flats? It comes down closer to 45 to 37. Right? So be careful on Oklo. Needs to hold that level. For Take Two, Interactive. So for Take Two, there's a few things you want to keep a lookout for. Right? We are at the 382 from this pivot, so can bounce. but I do like it retesting the highs here at 217. So 2 levels, interesting levels, continuously on a daily high or uptrend. So this is the last daily uptrend, or the daily high, or the daily low that got put in place at 210, right? So you want to hold that level. For Uber, you guys know I'm bullish on Uber, right? So we're looking at possible, if Uber can come down just a little bit to 87, this would be the level for the daily low at 81 that needs to hold. If not, it turns into a weekly low, and most likely it can sort of come back down, or this would be the new level at 60. So it can come back down closer to 78 to 72. Okay, so these are the main 2 levels that I'm looking at Uber. I do like Uber for plays as well. For Ava, so Ava, very volatile name, but I do like it closer to 21 bucks. Okay, and if that sort of breaks, then we're looking at the weekly low at 1407. All right, and then finally, a few more guys for earnings beat. So these are companies that I like to look at for earnings. So let's take a look. So ASML, great earnings, just bad guidance like always. I do like it at 665 against all these support zones here. So possible head and shoulders, or weekly inverse head and shoulders potential. All right, for ASML. For American Express, great company, great earnings, pulling back here. So 298 would make sense for American Express if it does come down just a little bit more, right? It'll hold the daily moving averages as well. Citigroup, not chasing this one, but it is at my sort of trim profit levels between 91 and 102. So financial still looking really good. For Domino's Pizza, I like Domino's, right? So if you wanted to add Domino's to your long term, you can. Making higher highs, higher lows, making equal highs. So algos love to take out those highs here. I do think Domino's is probably going to break to all-time highs in the future. Coca-Cola, solid numbers here, but nothing too volatile. Again, solid company, defensive, good dividends. Ultimately, you can buy Coca-Cola at 69.13, but I do like it a little bit lower at 65.44. So if Coca-Cola can come down just a little bit more here, guys, that is what I would love to play, right? Let's keep going for GE. GE is killing it this year, extending extremely higher. This does look like a potential wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then still working on this 5th wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3-wave move down and then higher. Okay, so not chasing this one. Could form an ending diagonal pattern. For IBKR, so Interactive Brokers, you guys know there's been an influx of new retail traders that's been coming in. So if that's the case, right, we want IBKR to come down closer to 55, 52. Okay. Kinder Morgan, energy and oil, I do like it a little bit lower, closer to 25 bucks here as well. For Pepsi, so Pepsi's still in a weekly downtrend, guys. You can see overall, it needs to actually, for me to be bullish, we need to make higher highs and higher lows. It needs to break above 160, 154. So what I'm looking at for Pepsi is if it can break above here, 3-wave pullback, we'll buy on the 3-wave pullback, because then it turns into an inverse head and shoulders, then the low's in. All right, so obviously could be a bottom here for PepsiCo. Okay. Ryanair, again, constantly making higher highs, higher lows, and looking very solid. Again, I'm bullish on airlines. I think Ryanair could go to 65 up to 74 here. For TSM, not chasing this one. I would love TSM lower. So there is a pivot here at 225 down to 209. I would love it at 209, to be honest, before it goes to 262. Not sure if it's going to go down there, right? Same thing with United. I like airlines, guys, overall. I like airlines. but not chasing this one. It's at the 618, right, at resistance. So if it does come down a little bit closer, could be a potential buy 76. Verizon, don't bet against communications. Bounced off the 618 perfectly, guys, right? I did some whatchamacallit. I did sell puts on Verizon, so did really well there. And I think I had like an 80% gain on Verizon. So let's see if it can keep trekking higher. If this is the low for Verizon, you're looking at $49 in the future. Wells Fargo, same thing, right? All the banks are doing quite well. Citigroup, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, looking at 87 to 95. And then let's go over rapid fire, the biggest losers, right? So for Archer, this is an interesting one. It is at this trend line support here, okay? So you could buy against that trend line support. For Circle, same thing. It is at this trend line support here, but, you know, not looking too hot as of right now. Let's see if it can coil and move sideways a little bit before going higher, right? We just need Circle to stop going down. For Equifax, beat its earnings, but again, going down. So I do like it lower, 228 to 217. Lockheed Martin, if I zoom out to the weekly, the last weekly higher low set was, let's see, there's a few fibs I can pull it from, but let's take a look from this fib here. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of confluence at 390 to 342, guys. I like Lockheed Martin a little bit lower, to be honest. Open Door, meme stock on Reddit. Just taking the fib extension levels, I do like it at 181-ish, 164. Can bounce now. It is on the moving averages on the 1 hour. So possible small bounce. But then the markets are going to decide whether it's going to go down or up higher. Okay? And then Philip Morris. Great company. I think has the Zen product, right? ZYN. That's doing really well. So I do like it at the 382 at 160. If it does break down even lower, 140. So those are it, guys. Those are the top stocks to buy today. Keep a lookout for some of your favorite ones. And again, come join Discord. So what you get with Discord, you not only get the day trade ideas, swing trade ideas every single day, you get long-term investment ideas, you get the signals, exactly the trades that I go into. We do the wheel strategy for option signals as well. You get the long-term portfolio, you get the 100x baggers account. So these are all my stocks that I think can 10x, 100x in the future. And this is actively managed. So if there's any other stocks that I believe I'll go into, right? I've been trimming as well because, it's already ran up so much. You get daily video updates. You get daily charts, guys, on all your top picks every single day on all the top names. So Google, HIMS, Meta, right? Palantir. These are all names you get every single morning. Weekly charts across the entire sectors as well. So you're always knowing where the rotation's happening. And then commentary on exactly when I get in and get out of trades as well. Okay, so looking forward to seeing you here. The link is in the bio for you to join again. And have a great rest of your Wednesday.